The film begins at an international school in Jakarta. It is the final day of the semester for a philosophy class consisting of 20 graduating seniors. Their teacher, Mr. Zimmet, has spent the year challenging them with various thought experiments to prepare them for the future. As the class begins, students discuss famous philosophical dilemmas like the infinite monkey theorem and the trolley problem. Mr. Zimmet then introduces a final, high-stakes exercise for the day. He posits a hypothetical scenario where an atomic apocalypse is about to occur. In this scenario, there is a specialized bunker nearby that contains enough supplies to sustain 10 people for exactly 1 year. Since there are 20 students plus the teacher, they must decide which 10 individuals will be allowed inside to ensure the survival of the human race. The class's top student, Petra, initially refuses to participate in the game. However, Mr. Zimmet threatens to lower the academic grade of her boyfriend James if she does not comply. To make the exercise more detailed, Zimmet distributes cards to each student that reveal a specific profession and set of skills. In this first round, James is assigned the role of an organic farmer, while Petra is an engineer. Other roles include a surgeon, a carpenter, a politician, and a published poet. Before the exercise even fully begins, Zimmet shoots the student who was assigned the role of the poet, claiming it is more humane than letting him die of radiation later. The students begin debating who is most useful for a post-apocalyptic world. Those with technical or medical skills, like the surgeon and the engineer, are quickly voted into the bunker. However, those with creative or less practical roles, such as the fashion designer, are rejected. Zimmet is also part of the exercise, but he keeps his specific skills a secret. The students eventually vote to allow him the final spot over an opera singer. As the sirens blare to signal the oncoming nuclear strike, the chosen 10 prepare to enter the facility. Instead of following the rules, James devises a plan to save everyone. While the students are separated to gather supplies, he tells each person individually that they will all meet inside the bunker. When the time comes to enter, the students work together to lock Mr. Zimmet out. Zimmet remains outside as the door seals shut. Through a window, he holds up a piece of paper stating that only he possesses the exit code required to open the door from the inside. The students are unsure if he is telling the truth, but they are forced to wait out the year to find out. Inside the bunker, life is not as pleasant as they expected. Though the facility has a garden and comfortable beds, the survivors find their existence to be agonizing and unsatisfying. Petra frequently checks on Zimmet's body through the glass, appearing dejected. After living in the bunker for a full year, the group prepares to leave, only to discover that they actually do need the exit code. Every attempt they make to break out of the bunker fails. Once their supplies are completely depleted, the students choose to commit group suicide. Because the exercise ended in total failure, the class decides to try the scenario a second time. This time, Zimmet reveals that the cards he distributed contain secondary details that could change the outcome of the vote. These details add new layers of complexity to each student's character. For example, Georgina, the surgeon who was easily accepted in the first round, now has a detail stating she may have contracted the Ebola virus. Because of this risk, the class rejects her. James is given the detail of being a homosexual, but he and Petra are both still voted into the bunker. Other students face similar scrutiny based on their new traits. The electrician is rejected for having a rare disease, while the hedge fund manager is accepted because she is a woman who can carry a child. Zimmet also secures a spot for himself this time. Once the chosen 10 enter the bunker, Zimmet insists that they must begin procreating immediately to restart the human race. Various heterosexual pairs are formed, but because James is gay in this exercise, he is excluded from the pairings. This means Petra is forced to be with Zimmet. After 10 weeks, there are no successful pregnancies among the group. Zimmet argues that they must rotate partners to increase their chances, but Bonnie, a soldier with a perfect memory, refuses to comply. The tension leads to a violent confrontation. When the soldier refuses to change partner, Mr. Zimmet threatens her with a gun. In the ensuing chaos, a student named Jack stabs Zimmet with a pencil. Before he dies, Zimmet opens the bunker door, allowing the radiation to enter and kill everyone. Back in the classroom, James begins to question the teacher's true motives. He notices that Zimmet had a strange cough when distributing specific cards, but has not coughed since. James eventually discovers a hidden compartment in the card box, revealing that his and Petra's roles were intentionally fixed. Zimmett explains that the exercise was meant to show James how his personal privilege has left him unprepared for the actual world. He compares James's perception of reality to Plato's allegory of the cave. Petra, dissatisfied with the teacher's logic, insists on running the thought experiment a third time. In this third iteration, Petra takes full control and asks the class to trust her choices for the bunker. Rather than choosing purely technical workers, she selects people with creative or risky backgrounds. Her list includes the opera singer, the poet, a harpist with autism, and the fashion designer. Petra argues that these individuals are necessary to make life worth living and to maintain the group's morale. Zimmett is outraged by these choices, claiming they are irrational and will lead to certain death. He threatens Petra with a failing grade and attempts to use his gun, but he discovers she has already pickpocketed it and removed the bullets. For the final spot, Petra chooses Jane, who has been assigned the role of a florist in this round. Zimmett is denied entry entirely because his secret exit code is no longer a bargaining chip. The soldier with the perfect memory has remembered it from the previous simulation. As the apocalypse begins in the simulation, the chosen group enters the bunker while Petra initially stays behind. However, the carpenter switches places with her at the last moment, pushing her into the safety of the bunker before the door closes. In this final scenario, the group experiences a year inside the bunker that is filled with creativity and enjoyment. They spend their time listening to the opera singer, watching Shakespearean performances, and listening to original poems. Despite the lack of technical survival experts, the morale of the group remains high. When the year concludes and they finally leave the bunker, the students discover that the nuclear bombs never actually fell. Zimmett narrates that the group will eventually die anyway because they lack the practical skills to survive on an island. Petra counters this by stating they would rather live a short, meaningful life and welcome death when it arrives. As the exercise ends, the film reveals a separate secret scenario where the carpenter had imagined himself in the bunker with 6 women. In his version, he explains the absence of the other men with various accidents, such as a drowning and a barracuda attack. Back in the real world, the class session finally concludes and the students begin to leave. Petra stays behind to confront Zimmett, accusing him of using the philosophical exercises to target and punish James. It is revealed that Zimmett and Petra have been having a secret affair. Zimmett believes that James is beneath her and used the simulations to try and prove that intelligence and logic are the only things that matter. Petra tells Zimmett that intelligence is not the only important trait and confirms her love for James. After giving Zimmett a final kiss, she leaves the classroom to join her boyfriend. Left alone in the school, Zimmett is seen contemplating his own existence and running thought exercises in his head. The movie ends with Zimmett reaching into his desk drawer for a pistol, followed by the sound of a single gunshot. However, the film shows this scene with multiple hypothetical outcomes, leaving his ultimate fate as another philosophical uncertainty.